Daycares are not safe for kids. Some have been attacked by daycare workers. Others get left on buses and vans. Some have even had their lives taken at daycares. This 21-month-old tied to a chair by a daycare worker. A Northern Virginia daycare worker has been fired for allegedly tying a student to a chair during lunch last month. According to the Virginia Department of Social Services, the staffer used a thin blanket to tie a 21-month-old child to a chair at Vincy School, Alexandria North. It happened around 11:40 a.m., August 13th, in a junior toddler classroom. The child was eating lunch and not hurting themselves or anyone else. The educator confirmed they tied the child to a chair with a blanket because the child threw food on the floor and moved from the table while eating. That does not mean you tie a kid up. That just means you get the kid to sit back down and while they finish eating. The daycare worker confirmed they didn't use redirection to get the child to sit in the chair during lunchtime. WTOP has contacted the Vincy School for comment. The local news site ALX Now was first to report the incident. The worker involved in the incident was fired immediately. The educator said they did not tie the blanket strong around the child. The lead teacher, who the report found didn't untie the child from the chair, received a write-up and was reminded about duty to report incidents. The daycare has prohibited practices policy that includes confining a child to a chair, a car seat, or a stroller for discipline or instead of supervision. An Alexandria police spokeswoman said the agency is aware of the incident and that the detectives reviewed it and to determine it to be a violation of daycare policy, but no criminal activity was involved. There is no active investigation at this time. I say the parents should not put their kids back at a daycare so they can be kept safe.
Inside the walls of Vinci School, Alexandria North, state inspectors say a teacher's assistant was fired for tying a 21-month-old child to a chair using a blanket. The school giving WSA 9 a copy of this surveillance image. Were concealing their faces, including the former employee, because she was not charged with the crime nor pursued by Child Protective Services.
As a former teacher, myself, teacher always a teacher, that should never happen.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Childcare takes a lot of patience. I'm glad they found out about it.
The Virginia Department of Social Services visited the location last month after the preschool itself reported what happened to the state licensing office and CPS. The assistant said she restrained the toddler for 22 minutes because the child threw food on the floor and moved tables during lunch. She claimed she, quote, did not tie the blanket strong around the child.
You know, in childcare, there are many things that's not black and white. However, we are a very firm believer that the regulations and rules must be followed regardless of our feelings.
Vinci School's founding principal says the 4-year employee was beloved by many parents, but had no option but to fire her for violating policy that prohibits restraint unless it's to prevent a child from hurting themselves or others.
She did make a big mistake violating regulations. However, she had no evidence to have abused or have caused any harm to any child.
Social Services says there was a teacher there, but that person did not do anything. The teacher was written up and counseled to report incidents even if uncertain. Staff was also required to complete additional training and review its behavior management policy.
You have to model and you teach them what is the correct behavior.
It sounds like they're on top of it, and that's a good thing.